Remember the 1990s? It was a decade that felt like a bridge between two worlds, the analog past and the digital future. For many, it was a time of hope, excitement, and a sense that anything was possible. It was a simpler time. Boy bands ruled the airwaves. Dial-up modems screeched their way online, and every "You've Got Mail" notification felt like a small miracle. The world was buzzing with the promise of new technology, and the future seemed bright and limitless. The Berlin Wall had just fallen. Democracy was spreading across continents, and the internet was opening up a new frontier. Suddenly, people everywhere could connect, share ideas, and dream bigger than ever before. We believed technology and free markets would create prosperity for all, putting power directly into the hands of ordinary consumers. The world felt like it was on the verge of a golden age, driven by innovation and opportunity. The idea was consumer sovereignty. You, the consumer, were king. Your preferences and your wallet would decide which products survived and which faded away. Every purchase was a vote, and your choices would shape the entire economy. It was a powerful feeling, believing that your decisions truly mattered. Good products would thrive, bad ones would disappear. The market was supposed to be a meritocracy, rewarding innovation and punishing mediocrity. The government's role was limited, just the referee, making sure everyone played fair and the rules were clear. The real action was supposed to be on the field between companies and consumers. Techno-optimism was everywhere. We thought innovation and consumer choice would solve everything. Startups popped up overnight, and every new gadget felt like a glimpse into a better tomorrow. The internet would create jobs, spread knowledge, and force companies to treat us better. It was supposed to be the great equalizer, giving everyone a voice and a chance to succeed. Power would shift from governments and giant corporations to ordinary people. The dream was a world where anyone, anywhere, could make a difference. We imagined a decentralized utopia, run by innovation and consumers, where creativity and competition would keep everything in balance. But looking back from today, that optimism seems almost naive. The world didn't quite turn out the way we expected. The world we got is very different from the one we were promised. Instead of endless opportunity, we see new challenges and unexpected consequences. And the free market quickly became a private club for a few powerful players. The dream of open competition faded as a handful of corporations took control. Instead of a decentralized world run by consumers, we got something else entirely. A landscape dominated by giants, where ordinary people have less influence than ever. The dream faded, replaced by a cozy arrangement between the most powerful corporations and the state. The promise of the 90s may be gone, but its lessons still shape the world we live in today. In the early days, tech companies were rebels, college dropouts building cool stuff in garages. Their focus was on user experience, not politics. They avoided Washington, priding themselves on independence and slogans like "Don't be evil." Their mission was to empower individuals, not serve governments. They resisted government demands for data and censorship, championing free speech and privacy. The internet was a space apart from old power structures, but as these companies grew, governments couldn't ignore them, and they couldn't ignore government money. The lines blurred, the rebels became billionaires in boardrooms. Priorities shifted from building for users to securing massive government contracts. The nerds in the garage became part of the establishment. So, how did tech heroes become part of the establishment, money, and power? As corporations grew, they craved more growth, and no one spends like the government. Multi-billion-dollar contracts for defense, intelligence, and infrastructure became irresistible. Companies shifted focus from consumers to government needs, cloud networks, AI, logistics. The goal became indispensable to the state. For government, partnering with big corporations was a shortcut to advanced tech. This partnership blurred the line between public and private sectors. Executives moved between Silicon Valley and Washington, aligning interests. The revolution was co-opted. The line between business and government dissolved. Let's look at some real-world examples to see how these powerful alliances actually work in practice, and how they shape the world around us in ways we might not always notice. Take Amazon's AWS, for instance. It doesn't just power online shopping. It runs cloud computing for the CIA and other government agencies, handling sensitive data and critical infrastructure. Meanwhile, tech giants like Microsoft and Google are fiercely competing for billion-dollar defense contracts, embedding themselves deeper into the machinery of national security. These companies aren't just selling software, they're becoming essential partners in government operations, blurring the lines between public and private sectors. In the pharmaceutical world, governments pour billions into a handful of giant companies for vaccines and drugs, especially during crises like pandemics. This guarantees profits for the biggest players, while smaller firms struggle to survive or are pushed out of the market entirely. In agriculture, government subsidies overwhelmingly favor massive industrial farms growing corn and soy, making it nearly impossible for small family farms to compete. These policies shape what ends up on our plates, prioritizing political interests and corporate profits over genuine nutrition and public health. In every industry, a handful of corporations build deep, lasting ties with government officials, creating relationships that go far beyond simple business deals. Through relentless lobbying, they secure favorable rules, regulations, and lucrative contracts that keep competitors at bay. The result is a closed loop of power and money, where government and corporate giants reinforce each other's dominance, often at the expense of everyone else. Smaller businesses and ordinary citizens are left out of these exclusive circles, struggling to keep up or simply being ignored. This isn't what most people imagine when they think of free market competition or equal opportunity. Instead, it's a system where the biggest players set the rules, call the shots, and shape the future to suit their own interests. For most of the public, it means being left on the outside, looking in, watching decisions that affect their lives being made behind closed doors. Let's get our vocabulary straight. Consumer sovereignty. The consumer is boss. Businesses succeed by meeting your needs. Crony capitalism. Success depends on government connections, not quality. Companies lobby for special treatment, tax breaks, regulations, contracts. It's a rigged game. Corporatism, the final stage, where state and big business fuse into a single ruling entity. They jointly manage the economy, prioritizing their interests. Decisions are made top-down by state and corporate elites. The consumer's power is a distant memory, so consumer sovereignty is the free market dream. Crony capitalism is that dream corrupted. Corporatism is when corruption becomes the system. Understanding this progression explains how we got from 90s optimism to today's reality. Let's compare the promised system to what we have. In consumer sovereignty, millions make daily choices. Power is decentralized. Companies thrive by responding to these signals. Bad ones fail. The customer is always right because their money keeps businesses alive. Power flows from the bottom up. In corporatism, a few people in boardrooms or government committees make the big decisions. The question isn't what do people want, but what serves state and corporate interests. Subsidies and regulations push certain products, regardless of consumer demand. Power flows from the top down. The system manages and shapes public demand, not the other way around. The marketplace's democracy is replaced by centralized control. How does corporatism affect your daily life? In almost every way. Your grocery store is filled with corn and soy products because of government policy shaped by corporate lobbying. Fresh food stays expensive, processed food is cheap, your choices are shaped before you even shop. Online, a few algorithms, built by companies working with government, decide what information you see. Content moderation and data sharing align with government narratives, filtering your reality. Privacy. In a true market, companies that spied on you would lose business. Now, your data is a resource for both corporations and the state. Your location, searches, and conversations feed a surveillance economy. The result: less real choice, less privacy, less agency. The system manages you, not the other way around. Power has shifted away from the individual. So, what can you do? First, use your wallet. Support small, independent businesses. Buy local. Choose products from companies not tied to government contracts. Every dollar spent at a small business is a vote for a more decentralized market. Second, demand transparency. Push for disclosure of lobbying, contracts, and the revolving door between business and government. Support politicians and groups calling for stronger disclosure laws. Ask questions about who benefits from public-private deals. Third, stay informed and talk about it. Learn about the connections between companies and government. Share what you learn with others. Most people don't realize the system has changed. By understanding and explaining the difference, you help break the spell. Awareness is the first step toward change. Even small actions matter. Let's bring it home. This isn't just a debate for economists or politicians. It's about the world we all live in, the choices we make, and the future we're building together. The 90s promised us a vision of capitalism, where consumers had real power, competition thrived, and anyone with a good idea could make a difference. It was supposed to be a system where the little guy had a shot, and where innovation and hard work were rewarded. But today, what we actually have is something very different: corporatism. Here, power is concentrated at the top, and decisions are made not by the many, but by a tight alliance between state and corporate interests. Instead of serving the public, the system manages the economy and population to protect the interests of a select few, those already in positions of influence and wealth. Accountability isn't to the public anymore, it's to partners within the system, other powerful players who help keep the status quo intact. This isn't a partisan issue, or something that only affects one side of the political spectrum. It's about power, who has it and who doesn't. When state and corporate power fuse, they create a self-perpetuating system that's incredibly hard to challenge or change. The language of the free market is still used, but it's often just a cover for deals and arrangements that benefit only a handful of insiders, not the broader public. The result? Less innovation, fewer opportunities for new voices, less freedom, and a system that's less responsive to the needs and dreams of ordinary people. That's why understanding the difference between capitalism and corporatism isn't just academic, it's critical for anyone who cares about fairness, opportunity, and real freedom. If we don't recognize what's really happening, we risk defending a system that's actually working against us, all the while believing we're standing up for freedom and opportunity. Recognizing this shift is the first step toward reclaiming our power and our voice in the system. Only then can we demand a system that's truly accountable to us, the people it's supposed to serve. The future depends on our willingness to see clearly, ask tough questions, and insist on real change.